March 1511. Ezio has been traveling for years in an effort to connect to his order's history. Through much hardship, the Mentor reaches Masyaf, the old assassin stronghold last seen in the first Assassin's Creed. Abandoned for over 300 years by now, Masyaf has been forgotten to time. Ezio is here for one thing: access to a secret sanctum hidden beneath the fortress. A letter written by his father before his death, Giovanni, makes mention of some kind of library here. This library is allegedly full of invaluable wisdom, all left by the legendary assassin Altair so many centuries earlier. Ezio has grown weary of questions with no answers, purposes left unfulfilled, and inquiries not yet satisfied. After arriving, however, it is shown that Templars have already set up search parties in an effort to discover the library's location first, and Ezio makes his way through the compound. Overcoming the obstacles set before him, he finally finds the sanctum, along with a man attempting to open its entrance. Ezio converses with him and is made aware of two things: that the door is only able to be opened by a special set of keys, and that the Templars are here as a result of reading a mysterious journal held by the group's leader here. Ezio then searches the castle for the leader, Leandros, to retrieve this journal, and in the process single-handedly clears the entire fortress of Templar presence. He finally catches up to him, and a horse chase ensues. During the chase, Ezio injures himself badly, but is able to keep on his tail for the entirety of the ordeal, arriving at a compound outside the fortress and further clearing the area. Pursuing him up a tower, Ezio cuts down Leandros and gets more information pertaining to both the Templars' occupancy of Masyaf and the journal itself. The journal turns out to be Niccolo Polo's, Marco Polo's father, which outlines locations for the aforementioned special keys and another thing, a grand temple. Leandros dies before revealing anything else about either.
Well, the old hound still has a bite.
The book you carry, where is it?
Niccolo Polo's journal. This will do you no good. Not now. We have found one of the Masyaf keys already, and are closing in on the rest.
What is in that library is not for you, not for the Templars.
You can have Altair's books, Ezio. We only want guidance. We only want directions. To the location of the Grand Temple.
Grand Temple? Tell me more, now! Requiescat in pace, bastardo.
May that same year, Ezio travels to Constantinople to search for the keys that were sent there by Altair 300 years ago with Niccolo Polo. The story is now set. Ezio must find the keys to gain access to the Grand Temple before the Templars do, and they already have one of them. Ezio, stepping off the boat, converses with the city local, a student who welcomes him to the area and wishes Ezio a fruitful journey ahead. We then meet perhaps one of the greatest side characters in the series so far.
Yusuf Kazim da Istanbul. I like that.
And we like you, Yusuf. Yusuf is a fellow master assassin and leader of the nation's Ottoman Brotherhood. He discusses how Templar influence in the Empire has been growing in the past 5 years, most likely a result of the Grand Temple search and the current political nature of the royalty in the country. Yusuf mentions that the current Sultan is on his way out, and with 2 sons as potential heirs, a scramble for the throne is bound to occur sometime soon. The Templars are apparently attempting to capitalize on the situation by inserting a member, or at the very least a sympathizer, to take this throne. Traversing through the city, Yusuf explains that Ottoman soldiers have a special loathing for the Byzantine Guard still in the region, who hold many Templar members. The reason is that the Byzantines still have loyalists that operate throughout the country, and are apparently hesitant to submit to Ottoman rule after the conquering of the former empire. Yusuf adds that when the region was under Byzantine rule, the assassins were relentlessly hunted down and exterminated. Now, though, under Ottoman rule, the assassins have a sizable presence and influence in the country. A fellow member suddenly makes the pair aware that simultaneous Templar assaults are commencing on 2 local assassin dens in the city. They split up to command the defense of both, with Ezio succeeding in pushing them back in one, but Yusuf, however, was too late to save the other, but assures the mentor that they will take it back soon. Ezio understandably asks our new friend why the Templars are so brash with their actions, deploying strike forces in broad daylight on city infrastructure. Tazim explains that the Sultan has been away for years now, and his government is largely blind to the violent events of the city. The Templars use this indifference to rid the area of assassin influence as much as they possibly can. Ezio begins to recruit new assassin allies following the fall of the Bazaar Den. He also opens up new dens and sets up defenses at each of them in order to stave off future Templar attacks. After, he discusses Niccolo Polo's journal with Yusuf. Ezio makes his new friend aware of the situation, and they believe the first step in their hunt for answers is one of Polo's trading posts in the city. Ezio arrives at the shop and meets his future wife, Sophia Sartor, a bookkeeper and literary enthusiast. Looking around, he finds a secret passageway to an underground chamber that eventually leads him to one of the special keys for Altair's Masyaf sanctum. Also within this vault is a map showing the location of several extremely rare books hidden throughout the city. Ezio assumes these books contain additional clues to find the remaining keys of the library, and will use Sophia to help him in this endeavor. Meeting back up with Yusuf, Ezio decides to assist him in attempting to consolidate factional allies in the region. They believe the more friends and influence they have in the area, the easier it will be to traverse through the city in their efforts to find the keys. Ezio establishes contact with the gypsies, the mercenaries, and the local thieves guilds. The mentor decides to finally examine the first key he had found underneath the Polo trading post, and discovers that they are in fact pieces of Eden. Unlike the others we've encountered in the story so far, the powers that they possess are merely visual. The keys are memory seals. Housed in these keys are remnants of Altair's life. Studying the first key, Ezio is pulled into the first memory. Masyaf, 1189, a few years before the events of the first game. Altair is shown arriving to Masyaf, which is currently under assault by Templar armies. The assassins are at a breaking point, and Al-Mualim is revealed to be taken hostage and detained within the walls of the fortress. Although the fight around them is incredibly chaotic, and his allies wish to fall back to regroup, Altair instead demands them to press forward with a counterattack while he finds a way to end the battle himself. Capitalizing on the mayhem, Altair traverses the battlements and assassinates the leader of the enemy army, an assassin turned Templar named Haras.
You put too much faith in the hearts of men, Altair. The Templars know the truth. Humans are weak, base, and petty.
No. Our creed is evidence to the contrary.
Perhaps I am not wise enough to understand, but I suspect the opposite. That I am too wise to believe such rubbish.
With their leader eliminated, the remaining Templar force scatters and the castle is liberated. Altair is then summoned by Mualim, who commends him for his efforts and rewards him with a promotion to Master Assassin. This rank has never been held by a member so young, as Altair is only 24 at this time. Yusuf brings to Ezio's attention a Byzantine plot to infiltrate Topkapi Palace now that Prince Suleiman has returned to the city. He believes that the Templars within the faction are planning to strike that night, as palace security will be busy with some sort of cultural celebration hosted by the royalty. Although Yusuf comments that Ezio need not meddle in Ottoman affairs, Ezio pushes back, adding that the Byzantines have found the first key underneath Topkapi Palace.
Unrefined.
And traveling there might yield some information about the others. He also plans on perhaps making a friend in the Ottoman court, granting him further access to the country's secrets. The assassins will disguise themselves as entertainers and infiltrate the gathering. After eliminating several Templar agents targeting noblemen at the party, Ezio and Yusuf look upon Prince Suleiman. Our mentor remembers that Suleiman was the student he had met on the day he arrived at the city. Yusuf also shows Prince Ahmet, Suleiman's uncle and one of the Sultan's sons. Ahmet is the favorite of the Sultan and is the preferred heir to the throne. A Templar outfit then attempts to ambush Suleiman, whose janissaries, the Ottoman royal guard, are mysteriously undermanned. The assassins intervene to protect the prince. Suleiman and Ezio then converse, meeting formally and exchanging cell phone numbers. The prince requests Ezio's presence at a hidden location in order to have a more prolonged discussion. Ezio obliges. Suleiman explains that he has set up a meeting with both his uncle Ahmet and the janissary captain, a man named Tarek Barlidi. Historically, the janissaries have been extremely loyal to the Sultan, but have become disillusioned with the royalty of late due to the Sultan's favored choice for heir, Ahmet, as the outfit prefers Suleiman's father, Selim. Ezio questions the involvement of the Byzantines. What do they want? What do they care for the politics of the country? The prince requests Ezio's aid in discovering the truth behind the Byzantine presence and activity in the country. I know some people might find this narrative a bit confusing at the moment, so let's clear the air and simplify the plot so far. Ezio is trying to find 5 keys to unlock Altair's library in Masyaf. Inside this library is a wealth of knowledge and wisdom. Ezio seeks to gain further insight into the assassin cause and the realities of the world. These insights are the result of Altair's persistent and prolonged study of the Apple of Eden. Unfortunately, the Templars are also seeking seeking the same, following a journal written by Niccolo Polo that they had discovered in Constantinople. Inside this journal are clues to the whereabouts of the 5 keys. The Templars have already found one key, sometime earlier beneath Topkapi Palace. Naturally, Ezio travels to Constantinople to find the other 4. Once arriving, Ezio finds himself inundated in the political turmoil of the country. The Suleiman, dying, has 2 sons, Ahmet and Selim, both of which want the throne. Ahmet is the favorite son of the Sultan, but Selim is the favorite of the royal guard. Selim's son, Suleiman, is asking Ezio for assistance in uncovering the loyalties of the various men involved in the government. Accomplishing this, he believes, will ensure a smooth transition into new power once the time comes for a new ruler. The assassins, understandably fearing Templars capitalizing on the chaos, aim to fix a solution as fast as possible, all the while discovering the library keys hidden across the region. Get it? Got it? Good. Let's continue. Ezio eavesdrops on the meeting between Ahmet, Suleiman, and Tariq.
Tariq Bey, a word. What was the purpose of this attack, I wonder? To make me look weak? An ineffective steward of the city? If you are the hand in this mess, Tariq, you have made a grave mistake. My father has chosen me as the next Sultan, not my brother.
Ahmed, I am not depraved enough to imagine the conspiracy you accuse me of.
What have I done to earn such contempt from the Janissaries? What has my brother done for you that I have not?
May I speak freely?
You'd better.
You are weak, Ahmed. Pensive in times of war and restless in times of peace. You lack passion for the traditions of the Ghazi, yet you speak of fraternity in the company of infidels. You make a decent philosopher, Ahmed, but you will be a poor sultan.
You may show yourself out.
Oh shit. It seems the captain of the Janissaries very much dislikes the idea of Ahmet grabbing the throne. This lines up with the faction's overall loyalty to Selim, and undoubtedly adds juicy drama to the intricate nature of the search for the keys. Meeting back up with Ezio, Suleiman tasks him with investigating Tariq and his Janissaries. Although they support his father, the prince wishes no bloodshed or violence to envelop the throne. Ezio departs and visits Sofia once again, who has deciphered the location of the first book that contains additional clues for the keys. Ezio finds the book and travels to the next underground chamber. The 3rd key is discovered, and Ezio leaves the area. We go back in time to another part of Altair's life, September 1191. Altair has just managed to defeat Al-Mualim. Fearing the unknown powers of the Apple of Eden, Altair chooses to burn his body rather than bury him. Altair has no way of knowing whether or not the apple can resurrect the dead, and he must be certain that the body he carries is indeed not one of Mualim's illusions. The assassins, confused from recently recovering from the apple's mind control, are vehemently against burning bodies as it goes against their traditions. Abbas Safian, a fellow assassin and rival to Altair, spurs a fight within the Order over the burning and attempts to take the apple. The Piece of Eden starts to cast auras of force and death around Masyaf, and Altair makes his way to recover the apple once again. After retrieving the artifact, the memory ends, with Ezio contemplating how arduous it would have been to be in Altair's shoes at that time. Ezio meets with a rug salesman and finds the location of Tariq in the city. Tailing him, Ezio ends up eavesdropping on a meeting between the Janissary captain and an unknown nobleman, Manuel Paleologos. A deal has apparently been made between the two. Tariq is providing Manuel with a massive shipment of weapons and armor in exchange for a large sum of money. The two enter one of the strongholds in the city, with Ezio and Yusuf unable to follow any further. To gain entry into the arsenal, the two assassins stir up a riot, influencing the local populace to break down the gates. Ezio infiltrates the fort and witnesses Manuel reviewing his shipment. It seems the nobleman indeed has some sort of nefarious plan with these weapons. Our mentor meets back with Sofia to find the location of the next book. She finally inquires as to the reasoning for all this searching, but he politely rebukes her inquiry and sets off for the next key. The book is found and the corresponding chamber is traversed. The 4th key is uncovered. Masyaf, 1228. Altair is 63 years old. He discusses with his wife, Maria, the turmoil the current assassin order is in. 10 years before this moment, Altair had left the Brotherhood in his youngest son's hands to assassinate Genghis Khan. However, Abbas Safian, the assassin who took the apple in the last memory, staged a coup d'etat against him and had him killed. Now, Altair and Maria enter Masyaf to confront Abbas and take back the order. They take note throughout the trek that Masyaf is nothing like it used to be, and comment that their eldest son, Darim, should be arriving at any moment to assist them. Encountering Safian, Altair and Maria demand to know why their son was executed, to which he demands the handing over the apple Altair's had for so long. And then, well, take a look.
Very well, Abbas. Take it.
What?
Before I executed your son, I told him you ordered it yourself. He died, believing you had betrayed him.
Altair! Altair! No! Strength. Altair.
Maria.
Maria is dead. Altair escapes the immediate situation, but finds himself trapped in the walled city still. Luckily for him, Darim has just arrived. Stating that Abbas must not get his hands on the apple, Altair compels his son to assist him in fighting their way out of the city. Many assassins lose their lives in this escape. Ezio's newest task is to interrogate Tariq and find out what his connection is to the Byzantine loyalists. He is sure that Manuel is in league with the Templars, but to what degree and with which players in the region remains a mystery. The mentor travels to see Solomon once again and informs him of his findings. Tariq and Manuel have made a deal, weapons for money. The prince states that Manuel is the nephew of the former Byzantine emperor, Constantine Palaiologos. His dissatisfaction with and contempt for the current government is no surprise. They discuss how the probable outcome of arming dissidents amid the current political conflict will be a violent one. Ezio's plan is to infiltrate one of the Janissary camps to question him. Solomon, however, adds on to this plan. After Ezio acquires the information he needs, Tariq is to be killed. Our assassin is hesitant, verifying that the prince indeed wants such a close friend to his father eliminated, but Solomon does not intend to allow such treason against his grandfather to go unpunished. Ezio kills a Janissary, dons his uniform, and accompanies a group of them to Tariq's location. Before confronting Tariq, Ezio overhears him conversing with one of his men. Hearing that the shipment of arms have arrived at their intended location, a region known as Cappadocia, it is also made known that Manuel has stationed a garrison of the aforementioned Byzantine dissidents in an underground city inside the region, Derinkuyu. I think it's Derinkuyu. Ezio makes his way through the camp and assassinates Tariq.
What a bitter irony. Is this the result of Suleiman's investigation?
You collude with the Sultan's enemies. What did you expect would come of such treachery?
I blame myself. Not for treason, but hubris. I was preparing an ambush. Preparing to strike the Byzantine Templars where they felt safest.
What proof do you have of this?
See, here. This will lead you to the Byzantines in Cappadocia. Destroy them if you can.
You have done well, Tariq. Forgive me.
Protect my homeland, assassin. Allah Ashkina. Redeem the honor we have lost in this fight.
Yep. Tariq was never aligned with the Templars. Tariq was never aligned with the Byzantines. Tariq was, instead, preparing a trap. His plan was to arm the Byzantine Templars, lead them to a staging area before the assault on Constantinople, ambush and destroy them. Ezio has taken an innocent life. Our assassin returns to Solomon, lamenting the actions he had just taken. Solomon is deeply saddened by his haste to order such an attack, but states he will have a boat ready for Ezio to use for traveling to Cappadocia. Ahmet arrives to speak to the prince, and complains to Solomon that the Janissaries are inevitably going to blame him for the attack on their captain. He is worried about the response the royal guard will take after this event. Ahmet then meets Ezio, who is presented as a European advisor to Solomon, and requests privacy amid their conversation. Ezio departs to meet with Sophia. After acquiring the last book's location, Ezio finds it and traverses the area associated with its clues. A new memory is shown. Masyaf, 1247. Altair is 82 years old. A group of assassins disgruntled with the current order's leadership joins Altair in an assault upon the stronghold. The goal is the assassination of Abbas and any followers who are guilty of breaking the creed. Some assassins fight, some stare in awe, and others join our old hero in his trek up the hill. Many lives are lost in this attack, but the assault is a success. Altair, accompanied and escorted by Brotherhood loyalists, assassinates Abbas and puts an end to his evil.
Tell your men to stand down!
No! I am defending Masyaf! Would you not do the same?
You corrupted everything we stand for and lost everything we gained. All of it sacrificed on the altar of your own spite.
And you! You have wasted your life staring into that apple, dreaming of your own glory.
All of this falling apart like this is on you.
Wow. Wow! Oh, that's some kind of logic right there.
We had a good thing, you stupid son of a bitch. We had
the creed.
We had
the apple.
We had everything we needed. It all ran like clockwork.
Oh,
you could have shut your mouth. It was perfect. But no, you just had to blow it up. You and your pride and your ego. You just had to be the man. If you'd done your job, known your place, we'd all be fine right now.
That is true, Abbas. I learned many things from the apple. Of life and death. Of the past and the future. Let me show you.
I can never forgive you, Altair. The lies you told about my family, my father, the humiliation I suffered.
They were not lies, Abbas. I was 10 years old when your father came to see me. He was in tears, begging to be forgiven for betraying my family. Then he cut his own throat. I watched his life ebb away at my feet. I will never forget that image.
No!
But he was not a coward, Abbas. He reclaimed his honor.
I hope there is another life after this one. Then I will see him and know the truth of his final days. And when it is your time, we will find you. And then there will be no doubts.
An old man, and still he fought to hold our brotherhood together. I would have called him stubborn in my youth, but now I can only admire his courage. The assassins were his life, from beginning to end. He had no other.
Yusuf and Ezio assemble to discuss the troubles of getting Ezio to Cappadocia. The Janissaries, reeling from their leader's murder, have erected a naval blockade of the port in order to stop Ezio from leaving the city. Tazim hands over a specifically made bomb to Ezio, intending for him to use it to punch a hole through the blockade. Ezio assaults the ships by boarding and burning each one of them. On to Cappadocia! Ezio arrives in March 1512. His objectives are clear. Find the Byzantines, assist Tariq's men, and secure the weaponry. While exploring the underground city, Ezio happens upon a young woman who managed to escape an ambush set by Byzantines on Tariq's small army. After notifying her that he was sent by Tariq to assist his forces, she comments that almost all of them have been taken captive and requests his help in setting them free. Ezio targets the Byzantine leader's right-hand man, Shakulu, who apparently has some sort of emotional disdain for the Ottoman faction. He's been in the story before this moment, but he hasn't done much. After engaging him in combat and dispatching him, a feat not so easily accomplished, Ezio frees the soldiers. His next plan is to destroy the delivered weaponry by exploding the gunpowder shipped along with it. In the chaos, Ezio states, he will hunt down Manuel. The Mentor infiltrates the stronghold where the weapons are kept, ignites the cache, and begins his pursuit of Manuel, who has emerged from his hiding spot or whatever. The Byzantines attempt to flee, but Ezio chases him down and eliminates him.
I should have been Constantine's successor. I had so many plans.
Your dream dies with you, Manuel. Your empire is gone.
Ah, but I am not the only one with this vision, assassin. The dream of our order is universal. Ottoman, Byzantine. These are only labels. Costumes and facades. Beneath these trappings, all Templars are part of the same family.
Enough prattling. I am here for the Masyaf key.
Then take it. Take it. Seek your fortune. See if you get within 100 leagues of that library before one of us finishes you off.
Ezio has gotten the final key to Altair's library. After, Ezio was ambushed by a company of men led by Ahmet, who is revealed to be the Byzantine Templar Grand Master. He threatens Ezio with Sophia's life, escapes the area, and leaves Ezio to be dispatched by his agents. The Mentor cuts through all resistance and flees the underground city, setting a course for Constantinople once again. During his traveling, Ezio relives another memory of Altair. Masyaf, 1257. Altair is 92 years old. The Mongols, led by Genghis Khan's grandson, Hulagu Khan,
unrefined,
have been campaigning across the Levant region, desecrating and destroying all assassin strongholds. This series of attacks was spurred on by the assassin's elimination of Genghis years earlier, when Altair, his wife, and his son Darim had traveled to dispatch the Mongol leader. Masyaf is currently under attack, and Altair meets with Niccolo Polo to discuss the codex and the keys to the library. Niccolo is to keep both safe in Constantinople while the war with the Mongols continues in the region. Ezio races back to Constantinople, fearing for Sophia's safety. The city is under strict lockdown by both Janissary and Byzantine forces, most likely due to Ahmet's worry of Ezio's return. Entering his woman's library, Ezio, after seeing almost a dozen dead soldiers strewn about, happens upon Yusuf's bloodied and lifeless body. Yusuf died following Ezio's order to protect her from Templar harm while he was away. The rest of the order gathers around our mentor, who calls them to action, encouraging them to follow him to the royal temple after giving a speech. The order's objectives are clear: lay waste to Yusuf's murderers, assassinate Ahmet, and retrieve Sophia. The entirety of the Ottoman Brotherhood descends upon the city's arsenal with incomparable fury, launching a massive assault and pouring into the walls. The assassins, unequaled in skill, easily overwhelm the Byzantine defenders. After much bloodshed, Ezio manages to carve his way through to Ahmet. Ahmet, who is anticipating his brother's arrival with the bulk of the Ottoman military, will trade Sophia for the seals, and Ezio agrees to meet later to conduct the transaction. Before doing so, Ezio appoints a new leader for the Ottoman order in Yusuf's vacancy and urges them to continue to assist him during this struggle, starting with the very woman who helped them obtain the Masyaf seals in the first place. He positions his men in tactical locations around the meeting area and provides the keys to Ahmet, who reveals that he had had Sophia taken prisoner close by. Ezio and his men rescue the librarian. Attempting to cut off Ahmet's escape to Masyaf to open Altair's library, Ezio and Sophia race to catch their carriage convoy. An absolutely batshit crazy sequence ensues wherein Sophia and Ezio chase down Ahmet and retrieve the library keys with a horse carriage. Just as the assassin and Templar engage in combat, Selim, Ahmet's brother and Solomon's father, enters the scene. He kills Ahmet and spares Ezio's life, noting that this is only due to his son's good words. Masyaf, 1512. Sophia and Ezio travel together to the historic assassin stronghold to enter the library. They discuss the order's history, the creed, and several of its actions over the past centuries. Ezio finally unlocks the vault door and finds Altair's skeleton holding another seal, and surrounded by his writings. Ezio sees the memory within the seal, revealing Altair's final moments. Our old assassin holds one last conversation with his son, Darim, and wishes for the stronghold to become completely empty should the Mongols attack once more. After saying his goodbyes, Altair enters the vault, locks the door, and travels inside. The Mentor stores the apple away and sits to rest, confident that his duties were executed in full. Altair passes. Ezio finds the apple, but chooses not to take it. He disarms himself, marking an end to his assassin membership, and, before leaving, once more communicates with Desmond through the apple. Desmond, who is reliving his memories in the current time period, achieves a sync nexus, which is a point where one has fully experienced the genetic memories of another, and is able to travel to the nexus, a form of reality wherein several members of the first civilization stay. They explain the past, the present, and the coming future.